Thank you.
You're excited.
Thank you. I'll give the call to the member for Fairfax.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. This motion coming from the member for Moreton, who's clearly bought in to the loony left's position on climate change and renewables, unfortunately suffers from an eternal lack of idea, completely void of reality, unfortunately. It is difficult, given the bland repetition of all the usual motherhood statements and mantras, and with the usual lack of specifics, to get a handle on exactly what it is the member for Moreton is actually asking for. It's very difficult, beyond, of course, his loyal abidance with Labor rhetoric. Now, reading between the lines, it seems to me, Deputy Speaker, that this motion is the twin of an earlier motion put by the member for Griffith. But she at least told the chamber what she wanted, as nonsensical as it was, and that was a big new clean energy target and the end of the Adani coal mine. If we do these things, so it seems to the left, then the Great Barrier Reef will be saved, and along the way will also the planet be saved. Alleluia, Deputy Speaker, alleluia. Now, apparently it's all that simple, but as we know, the energy debate indeed is not that simple. Picking up one of the elements of the member for Moreton's motion dealing with storage demonstrates why the massive challenge we confront in relation to energy are anything but simple, and why Labor's position is yet again so opportunistic. Storage of renewable power has now become a central part of Labor's threadbare position. It never used to be. This is all very new for Labor. Previously, for Labor, wind and solar were standalone propositions. Omnipotent, in fact. They were the perfect energy alternative. But sadly, they're not. And at least that particular penny has finally dropped for Labor. In countries where renewables constitute a significant part of the energy mix, desperate measures are underway, as we speak, to try and boost conventional backup, to counter their intermittency, their unreliability. That's as true in the UK as it is in Germany, as it is in the United States, as it is in Australia, particularly in South Australia. Wind and solar have universally failed in this regard, to deliver reliable power. To do so, they demand fast backup, on hand all the time, 24/7. Storage in batteries has become Labor's plan B for wind and solar as that backup, based almost entirely on the South Australian Labor government's experimental construction of a 100 megawatt battery storage system at the Hornsdale wind farm, with a price tag for the taxpayer that's still top secret, Deputy Speaker. Labor, both in Adelaide and Canberra, want to believe that this battery is the answer to keeping South Australia's lights on in the face of the grave threat to grid security posed by an over-reliance on wind this summer. But it's not. You only have to look at what Jay Weatherill is doing with the remainder of the $500 million plus panic package he's desperately putting in place to see where the real grunt in the effort to keep the lights on and the air conditioners running in South Australia for the next 2 summers is actually coming from, Deputy Speaker. You know what it is? Diesel. Diesel. Next to the dusty desalination plant at Lonsdale and in the old GMH factory in Elizabeth, he is installing 276 megawatts of diesel generators, 9 diesel units. How that squares with the platitudes and the call for immediate action from the member for Moreton is anyone's guess. Deputy Speaker, this motion, unfortunately, seems to be more mindless nonsense from the Labor Party that simply cannot face the reality when it comes to meaningful, sensible, responsible action on climate change or the delivery of secure and affordable power. Now, as we know, this Turnbull government is getting on with the business. As we know, we are putting reliability, security and affordability of energy at the top of our agenda. That's for families across Australia. That's for businesses across Australia. And it does no family, no business any good to have these sort of foolish motions debated in this chamber. Thank you, Deputy
Thank you,
Speaker.
Member for Fairfax. Give the call